You have only one day left. Yes, I'm talking directly to you. This isn't a random video you stumbled upon. This message found you at this precise moment for a reason. The universe doesn't make mistakes when it comes to timing. That you've been feeling it lately, haven't you? That strange urgency, that whisper in the back of your mind saying something needs to change. That feeling that time is somehow slipping through your fingers like sand. That there's a countdown happening in your life right now, and you've been missing the signals. A window of opportunity that's been open, but is about to close. I'm not talking about the end of the world, I'm talking about the end of waiting. The end of someday. The end of, I'll get to it tomorrow. This message arrived in your life today because you're at a crucial turning point. A moment where the decisions you make in the next 24 hours will set the course for everything that follows. That if you choose to ignore what I'm about to share, life will continue. But it will continue on the same path it's been on. And deep down, you know that path isn't taking you where you truly want to go. This conversation isn't happening by accident. It's happening because it's time. Time for truth. Time for change. Time for the transformation that's been waiting for you. Type, I'm listening, to hear this urgent message. There's a clock ticking in your life that you can't see, but you can feel. Each passing day, each passing hour, something precious is slipping away. Not just time, but potential. Possibility. The unique opportunities that belong specifically to this chapter of your life. This invisible countdown isn't marked on any calendar. It doesn't send notifications to your phone. But it's running in the background of your life, affecting everything. Perhaps it's the dreams you keep postponing, the relationships you're not nurturing, the health you're not prioritizing, the gifts you're not sharing. Each of these has an expiration date that no one warns you about. You become comfortable with delay. Next month I'll start that project. Next year I'll focus on my health. When things calm down, I'll spend more time with the people I love. But the truth is, things never calm down unless you make a deliberate choice to change your priorities. The most dangerous countdown is the one you don't acknowledge. When you postpone your dreams, they don't patiently wait, they begin to fade. When you delay your purpose, it doesn't hold still, it starts looking for someone else who will express it. Every day that passes in misalignment with your true self is a day that can never be reclaimed. And right now, you have one day left before a door closes that may not open again in the same way. Type, I see the countdown. To continue, your inner wisdom has been trying to get your attention for months now. Remember those moments of sudden inspiration that you quickly dismissed? The ideas that came to you in the shower or just before falling asleep, the ones you told yourself you'd think about later, but never did. Those weren't random thoughts. They were signals. Messages from your deeper self trying to redirect your path before time runs out. You felt it physically too. The restlessness. The difficulty sleeping. The inexplicable anxiety that comes over you when you think about continuing on your current path for another year, another 5 years. Your body knows when you're not living in alignment with your truth. It sends signals through fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to fix. Through tension that no massage can fully release. Through a vague but persistent sense that something is off. These warning signs have been getting louder recently. What started as a whisper has become a shout because the deadline is approaching. The part of you that knows your true potential is making one final attempt to break through the distractions, the busyness, the excuses. You've been drowning these signals in endless scrolling, in mindless entertainment, in work that keeps you busy but not fulfilled. You've been turning up the volume on external noise to drown out the internal wisdom that's trying desperately to reach you. Today, right now, it's time to finally listen. Type, I acknowledge the warnings. To continue, between you and the life you're capable of living stands an invisible barrier. This barrier wasn't built by external circumstances, bad luck, or other people. It was constructed piece by piece, day by day, through the thoughts you've chosen to believe about yourself and what's possible. This barrier is made of familiar phrases: "That's not realistic. People like me don't do things like that. It's too late to change now. I don't have what it takes." Each time you've repeated these thoughts, the barrier has grown stronger. It's reinforced by comfort, the comfort of the known, even when the known isn't fulfilling. The comfort of routine, even when that routine is slowly draining your life force. The comfort of low expectations, which guarantee you'll never face disappointment or failure. This barrier has become so familiar that you might not even see it anymore. It's like a room you've lived in for so long that you no longer notice the color of the walls. But this barrier is the very thing preventing you from stepping into the opportunities that are waiting on the other side. The most alarming truth is that while this barrier has remained in place, time has continued moving. Opportunities have continued passing by. Dreams have continued to fade. And now, with only one day left before a significant door closes, this barrier stands between you and what could be the most important step forward in your life. Type, "I'm ready to break through," to continue. The real issue isn't that you have only one day left. The real issue is that you've misunderstood the true nature of time itself. Time isn't just something that passes, it's the most valuable currency you possess, and you've been spending it carelessly. Each day contains 86,400 seconds. How many of those seconds did you invest in what truly matters yesterday? How many were given to scrolling through other people's lives instead of creating your own? How many were surrendered to worry about a future that hasn't happened or regret about a past you cannot change? Society has programmed you to believe that time is something to kill, to pass, to spend. These words reveal a fundamental misunderstanding. Time isn't something to use up, it's something to invest with intention, to multiply through presence, to transform through purpose. You've been living as though you have an unlimited supply of tomorrows. As though someday you'll suddenly have more time, more energy, more courage to start what matters. But this thinking is the greatest illusion of all. Each day that passes with the thought, "I'll start tomorrow," is another day lost forever. The truth about time is both sobering and liberating. Today is the only day guaranteed. This moment is your only certain point of power. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow isn't promised. All you truly have is this present moment and the choices you make within it, and this realization changes everything about how these next 24 hours can unfold. Type, "I value my time," to continue. Today you stand at a crucial decision point. Not a small choice about what to do next, but a fundamental choice about who you're becoming and what you're creating with your life. If you choose to continue as you have been, putting off what matters, numbing what hurts, ignoring what's true, you already know the outcome. 6 months from now, your life will look remarkably similar to how it looks today. The same problems, the same frustrations, the same sense of time slipping away. But if you choose differently today, if you decide that these next 24 hours will mark a genuine turning point, everything can change. Not because the world around you magically transforms, but because your relationship to it fundamentally shifts. This choice requires courage. It demands that you step beyond the familiar discomfort you've grown accustomed to and into a new kind of discomfort, the discomfort of growth, of truth, of living deliberately rather than by default. The universe has orchestrated this moment of clarity as a gift. It's showing you, with unmistakable urgency, that the time for hesitation is over. The time for half measures and someday plans has passed. This decision cannot be postponed until tomorrow, because tomorrow will only present you with the consequences of today's choice. And the opportunity that stands before you right now may not appear again in the same form. What will you choose with this one precious day? Type, I choose differently now, to continue. Within you lies a dormant power that's been waiting to be activated. This power isn't mystical or supernatural, it's your natural state of being when you're fully aligned with your deepest truth and purpose. This power has always been available to you. But it's remained unused because you haven't accessed it consistently or deliberately. It's like having a supercomputer but only using it to check email. The capacity is there, but the potential remains largely untapped. When you connect with this inner power, something remarkable happens to your relationship with time. You discover that a single day lived with complete presence and purpose can accomplish what might otherwise take weeks of distracted effort. You find that when you're aligned with your truth, obstacles that seemed insurmountable suddenly reveal pathways through. This power transforms your energy, your clarity, your ability to take decisive action. It doesn't eliminate challenges, but it changes your relationship to them. Instead of being barriers that stop you, they become opportunities that strengthen you. The most important thing to understand about this power is that it doesn't require special circumstances to activate. It doesn't demand perfect conditions or ideal timing. It requires only your conscious choice to step into it, right now, just as you are, in this exact moment. This power isn't something you need to build or create. It's something you remember and reclaim. It's your natural state before the world convinced you to play small. Type, I claim my power, to continue. The urgency you're feeling isn't arbitrary. This timing isn't random. The pressure of having only one day left serves a profound purpose in your journey. Without deadlines, human nature tends toward endless preparation, constant planning, perpetual waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives. The countdown you're experiencing is a gift. It creates the necessary focus. The essential urgency that transforms thinking into doing, potential into reality, or unique gifts aren't meant to remain dormant possibilities. They're meant to be expressed, shared, contributed to a world that desperately needs exactly what only you can offer. Your specific blend of experiences, insights, talents, and perspective isn't duplicated in any other human being on the planet. The impact your gifts could have right now, today, extends far beyond what you can see. Like dropping a stone in water, the ripples of authentic action travel outward in ways impossible to predict or measure. The person you might inspire, the problem you might solve, the beauty you might create, these possibilities await your decision to begin. Every day you delay expressing your true gifts affects not only your fulfillment but also those who would benefit from your contribution. This isn't about pressure or guilt, it's about recognizing the interconnected nature of our lives and the responsibility that comes with holding unique gifts. The time constraint you feel is catalyst for the transformation that's been waiting to emerge through you. Type, I embrace my purpose, to continue. Before you can fully step into the power of this one day, you must first release what's been weighing you down. Just as a hot air balloon cannot rise until it releases its sandbags, you cannot elevate your life while clinging to what keeps you grounded. You must release the need for perfection that keeps you endlessly preparing but never beginning. The belief that you're not ready, not qualified, not worthy enough to start today. This perfectionism isn't high standards, it's fear disguised as preparation. You must release the habit of seeking everyone's approval before moving forward. The compulsion to ensure everyone agrees with your path before you walk it. Their permission is not required for your growth. You must release the endless comparisons that steal your joy and unique expression. The measuring of your chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 20. Your path is yours alone and cannot be authentically lived through anyone else's metrics. You must release the identities you've outgrown but continue to wear because they're comfortable and familiar. The stories about yourself that might have been true once but now serve as convenient excuses to avoid change. These elements aren't just taking up mental and emotional space, they're actively consuming the time and energy you need for transformation. Every moment spent in these patterns is a moment unavailable for creating what matters. This release isn't loss, it's liberation. It creates the essential space for what truly belongs in your life. Type, I release what limits me. To continue, what if you could reclaim the time that's already passed? What if you could compress the lessons of years into hours? And expand a single day into a transformation that might otherwise take months? This isn't time travel, it's time reclamation through the power of complete presence and absolute clarity. When you're fully present, time behaves differently. It expands. It deepens. It yields more experience, more growth, more impact per moment than when you're scattered across past regrets and future anxieties. The next 24 hours can be maximized through several approaches. First, by eliminating all unnecessary distractions, the social media, the mindless entertainment, the busy work that fills time but creates nothing of value. Second, by focusing exclusively on what moves the needle toward your most important aims. Third, by bringing full consciousness to each action rather than operating on autopilot. A single day of complete alignment is worth more than weeks of fragmented effort. In just one day of this focused presence, you can make decisions you've been postponing for months. You can have conversations you've been avoiding for years. You can take the first step on a path you've been dreaming about for a lifetime. Your perception of time shifts dramatically with your level of consciousness. In states of flow and complete engagement, hours can feel like minutes while producing the results of days. The key to this time reclamation isn't working faster or sleeping less, it's bringing absolute clarity to what matters and ruthless elimination to what doesn't. Type, I reclaim my time. To continue. Let's get practical about what making this one-day transformative actually looks like. This isn't about vague intentions or general promises to yourself. It's about specific decisions and concrete actions that create immediate momentum. This transformative day begins with a single morning decision: today will be different. Not a hopeful wish, but a definitive commitment that this day will not be surrendered to habit, convenience, or the path of least resistance. Throughout this day, you'll need to recognize and overcome the inevitable resistance that arises. The sudden fatigue when you begin important work. The unexpected emergencies that demand your attention. The inner voice suggesting you can start tomorrow instead. These aren't coincidences, they're resistance recognizing that real change is possible. The momentum builds with each small choice aligned with your deeper truth. Each time you choose discomfort over comfort and growth is at stake. Each time you say no to what doesn't serve your highest path so you can say yes to what does. Each time you catch yourself slipping into old patterns and consciously redirect, this single day becomes the reference point for all that follows. Not because everything magically resolves in 24 hours, but because you establish a new relationship with time itself, one where each day is lived intentionally rather than surrendered passively. The trajectory of your entire life can pivot on the decisions made within a single day of absolute clarity. Type, I dedicate this day. To continue, you're not meant to make this transformation alone. An invisible support system surrounds you, ready to assist this time-sensitive shift once you acknowledge its presence and accept its help. This support exists within you as untapped inner resources, courage you haven't needed to call upon, wisdom accumulated through every experience, resilience built through previous challenges. It exists around you in the form of synchronicities that appear at crucial moments, unexpected allies who emerge when needed, and perfect timing that cannot be planned but can be recognized. The guidance you need will arrive through intuitive flashes, through words that catch your attention, through situations that point the way forward. But you must be watching for these signs rather than dismissing them as coincidence. this support system multiplies your effectiveness within limited time. It creates shortcuts where you expected long journeys. It brings clarity where you anticipated confusion. It provides energy when you thought exhaustion was inevitable. The key to activating this support is twofold. First, acknowledging that you don't have to figure everything out alone, and second, explicitly asking for help, from your deeper wisdom, from the universe, from sources of guidance you trust. There's a profound difference between the person trying to transform through willpower alone and the person who aligns with larger supportive forces. The first exhausts themselves pushing against resistance. The second finds currents that carry them toward their destination with surprising ease. Type, I accept support, to continue. Just as you begin to gain momentum, be prepared for the final and most powerful resistance to emerge. This resistance is your mind's last desperate attempt to maintain the status quo, to keep you safely within familiar territory. This resistance takes predictable forms. Sudden doubt about whether change is really necessary or possible. Intense rationalization about why tomorrow would be a better day to start. Unexpected crises that seem to demand your immediate attention. Physical symptoms like fatigue, headaches, or brain fog that make focus difficult. These aren't random obstacles, they're your system's programmed response to significant change. The mind prefers the discomfort it knows to the unknown it fears. It will create compelling reasons to delay the very transformation your deeper self is seeking. What's at stake in this critical moment is not just a single opportunity, but your relationship with change itself. Each time you surrender to final moment resistance, you strengthen the neural pathways of postponement and weaken your capacity for decisive action. The strength needed for this final push comes from remembering why you started, from connecting with the urgency of now, from recognizing that this pattern of resistance has derailed your most important intentions countless times before. When this resistance appears, and it will, recognize it not as a sign to stop but as confirmation that you're on the verge of meaningful change. Its presence doesn't indicate you're on the wrong path, it signals you're finally on the right one. Type, I overcome resistance, to continue, throughout HIST.